Most golfers dream of the Open Championship, but for Ryan Peake, that dream was buried under years of violence, prison walls, and the label of lost cause. At 19, he was Australia's next big golf prodigy. By 21, he was a convicted outlaw biker, locked away for a brutal assault. Fast forward to 2025, and Ryan Peake is standing on the first tee at Royal Portrush, paired with none other than Phil Mickelson. How did he get here? This is the story of golf's most unlikely redemption, from prison yard to the Open Championship. The prodigy. Ryan Peake grew up in Perth, Western Australia. Like many kids, he was introduced to golf by his dad and grandfather. But unlike most kids, Ryan wasn't just good. He was exceptional. By his teens, Peake was competing in state and national championships. He had a silky left-handed swing, big power, and an analytical brain for the game. At 17, he represented Australia in the Trans-Tasman Cup, lining up alongside a young Cameron Smith, the same Cameron Smith who would go on to win the Open in 2022. Peake's talent turned heads. Coaches and scouts whispered that he might be the next Australian star. At just 19 years old, he turned professional, ready to chase the dream. But dreams don't always survive reality. Prize money was scarce. Travel was expensive, and without results, confidence began to crack. For Ryan Peake, the professional tour life quickly became more pressure than promise. And instead of finding himself on leaderboards, he found himself drifting somewhere much darker. The fall. By his early 20s, Ryan Peake was slipping further from the golf course. With no money, no sponsorships, and no stability, he fell into a different world entirely. He joined the Rebels Motorcycle Club, Australia's largest outlaw biker gang. A world of brotherhood, but also violence, crime, and intimidation. In 2014, everything came crashing down. Ryan was involved in a violent assault, an attack so serious that he was charged with grievous bodily harm. The court sentenced him to 5 years in prison. From representing his country, to sharing a cell block, from a potential PGA Tour star, to an inmate number. Prison could have been the end of his story. For many, it would have been. But strangely, those years behind bars planted the seeds of something he'd lost long ago: discipline, perspective, and a reason to change. And it all started with a familiar voice reaching out from the outside world. The rebirth. Inside prison, Ryan Peake had time, and plenty of it. Time to reflect, time to regret, and time to wonder if he had wasted the one true gift he had. Then came a lifeline. His former coach, Richie Smith, reached out. Smith wasn't just any coach. He was guiding some of Australia's biggest talents, including future major champions Hannah Green and Minjee Lee. Smith told Peake that he still believed in him, that if Ryan was serious about changing, golf could still be his way forward. So when he was released in 2019, Ryan didn't chase fame. He didn't grab his clubs and expect instant success. Instead, he worked quietly, as a greenkeeper. While other pros walked fairways, Peake was mowing them. But that time humbled him. It reintroduced him to the game not as a star, but as a worker. He rebuilt his swing, his fitness, and most importantly, his mindset. And when he felt ready, Ryan Peake decided to try again. Not as the cocky prodigy he once was, but as a man with scars, humility, and unfinished business. The comeback. In 2022, Peake officially returned to professional golf. But the road back wasn't glamorous. He played in small events, often for prize purses barely covering expenses. He slept in cars, lived off the cheapest meals, and scraped together fuel money to drive from tournament to tournament. He wasn't chasing luxury. He was chasing belonging. And slowly the results came. His swing, once lost, was sharper than ever. His mental game, forged in the hardest place imaginable, gave him resilience few golfers could match. Then came the breakthrough. March 2025, the New Zealand Open. Co-sanctioned by the Asian Tour with a strong international field. For 4 days, Ryan Peake played golf like the prodigy he once was. His ball striking was pure, his putting confident, and his composure unshakable. When the final putt dropped, he stood at 23 under par. A champion. The win earned him Rookie of the Year honors on the PGA Tour of Australasia, status on the DP World Tour, and most importantly, an invitation to the Open Championship. The prison yard was behind him. The oldest championship in golf lay ahead, and the world was about to hear Ryan Peake's name again. July 2025, Royal Portrush, Northern Ireland. The Open Championship. For Ryan Peake, this wasn't just another tournament. It was the realization of a comeback few believed possible. And the golf gods gave him a surreal twist. His playing partner was none other than Phil Mickelson, a 5-time major champion and global icon. Think about it. Just a few years earlier, Ryan Peake was counting days on a prison calendar. Now he was walking down the first fairway of the Open, side by side with one of the game's legends. The pressure was immense. Cameras followed every swing. Crowds lined the ropes. And while his scorecard showed nerves, bogeys, missed opportunities, flashes of brilliance followed by costly mistakes, the real story wasn't numbers. It was presence, belonging, redemption. Peake didn't make the cut that week, but in many ways, he didn't need to. Simply standing there, competing in golf's oldest championship, was a victory greater than any trophy could measure. For the first time in over a decade, Ryan Peake's name wasn't in headlines for violence or prison. It was for golf, the sport that nearly abandoned him, but ultimately saved him. Ryan Peake's journey isn't neat. It isn't polished. It's raw, messy, and deeply human. From prodigy to prisoner, from outlaw biker to greenkeeper, from forgotten talent to professional champion, and finally, from prison yard to the Open Championship. Golf has redemption stories. Ben Hogan after his car crash, Tiger Woods after his fall from grace. But Ryan Peake's comeback might be the most unlikely of all, because this isn't just about birdies and bogeys. It's about resilience. It's about a man who lost everything and fought his way back. And it's a reminder for every golfer, every athlete, every person, that no matter how far you fall, no matter how dark it gets, the game isn't over. Ryan Peake is proof. The comeback is always possible.